Okay, it is that time, 2 o'clock. So we will get started. Thank you everyone for joining us to listen to information on our Student Leadership Academy and that we're hosting on June 3rd through the 5th in the Capital Region. Okay, so we do have a lot planned in this hour, so hopefully we can get all of your questions answered. And we're gonna just do some introductions here. We have some folks from the SUNY SAIL Institute from the team here. And then we're going to turn it over to the panelists to introduce themselves, introduce their campus, and just a little bit about them, and we'll get to talk to them a little bit later. But I am Marissa McCasty. I'm the Leadership Development Manager for the SUNY SAIL Institute. And part of my role here is to create the student leadership programming. And prior to the SAIL Institute, I was in the Office of Applied Learning, where I helped to expand experiential education activities, hands-on, outside of the traditional classroom activities, internships, co-ops, clinical placements for all students across the system. So this topic is near and dear to my heart because we have a lot of that applied learning curriculum infused into what we're going to be doing at the Student Leadership Academy. So Carolyn, if you are able to introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Marissa. My name is Carolyn Matisky. I'm the Associate Director here at the SAIL Institute. I was happy to welcome Marissa to the team about 1 year ago now. And she brings a lot of applied learning knowledge and background to this program. And so the Student Leadership Academy fits in nicely with the portfolio of work that we're doing for our employees, our faculty and staff that are looking for leadership development. So it makes sense that now we're offering this program to our SUNY students. So happy to have Marissa in this role and share more information about this event in the summer.
Thank you. And I have here with me Maya Rudolph. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Rudolph. I'm a graduate assistant here at the SAIL Institute. I'm a graduate student at the University at Albany in the Rockefeller College of Public Affairs and Policy. I'm pursuing my Master of Public Administration and graduating in May. And I'm also one of the panelists today because I have been working with the SAIL Institute for almost a year now, and I completed the Global Leader Experience last year.
Great, thank you. And then Joyce, if you can introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Joyce Akimola. I'm also a graduate assistant at the SUNY SAIL Institute and also pursuing my master's in public administration. So it's nice to meet you all.
Thank you. And Courtney, are you on the line with us? Let's see, maybe we can go to the folks at University at Albany, and hopefully Courtney will be able to join. So, go ahead, Martha.
It's Martha Aslan. I'm the director for the Center for Leadership and Service, and our students are just getting out of class, so I'm expecting them to come a little bit later. But I do have with me, and I'll have her introduce herself.
I am Cheryl Simmons. I'm the Assistant Director at the Center for Leadership and Service. I have had the pleasure of working with SUNY SAIL during the summer programs, and I have literally gone through our global leadership experience with Common Purpose. So I have, I think, a unique aspect on this entire program.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Okay, I believe that we will just wait for the students to come back, and we can continue to go forward, and then they'll be able to join us in a bit. Okay, so we decided to do this Student Leadership Academy for many reasons. It has been it has been a student leadership program for many years. As Cheryl was saying, we have in the past partnered with Common Purpose, which is an organization outside of the UK that does cultural intelligence work. And we, fast forward a little bit, we have decided to create an in-house program and utilizing all of the expertise across the SUNY system that you will see as we are in this information session today. We have a great design team who helps us with our curriculum and creating these opportunities for students that are high impact. So the purpose of the Academy is essentially to prepare the next generation of civically engaged leaders and to be able to provide them with the skills and knowledge and tools needed to be successful, to navigate the increasingly diverse and fractured communities that we are all a part of. So it's designed and delivered, as I said, by the professionals from across SUNY, and which leverages the collective aspects of the system, and it provides a unique learning and networking opportunity for our students. And this is a picture of the students last year in New York City when we were at the student leadership experience there. So they're very happy. Hopefully we'll have a couple of those students joining us today on the call to talk about their experience. Okay, so we decided to, for the Student Leadership Academy, we decided to come up with a challenge question. A challenge question is usually what happens within the student leadership program in the academy to help the students dive into an issue that they are facing within their communities or within the world and the global communities. So our challenge questions for the students this year is based around the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals are a collection of 17 global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have the students divide up in small groups, and they will be asked to select one of the 17 goals. Each group will then develop a strategy to address this question, and the question being, how do we collectively take action to advance your selected sustainable development goal to transform your campuses and your communities? And we'll be doing that through the Grand Challenge. We'll be answering that question through interacting with local and state and national leaders from government, from education, business, and nonprofits. And the capital region being the city, the capital city of New York, we have a lot of businesses and organizations that will help us get to that goal. Okay, so what we would like to do is just give you an overview of what the Academy will look like. We talked about the purpose and benefits of the Academy. We'll go a little bit into what the program, the tentative program schedule will look like, what the student eligibility is for that, and the role of you as the campus representative, if what that looks like if you are interested in being a campus liaison. And then the nomination process for the Academy and what that looks like. And then at the end, we are going to talk to the students and see what they have to say about their experience and what they took away from previous student leadership opportunities that they've had. And then we will leave it up to you if you have any sort of questions that you want to ask either the students or myself. We'll be able to get those answered. Okay, so like I said, we do have a design team that helps us with the curriculum, helps us with logistics, says, this is gonna work, or this, maybe we should rethink this. So we are definitely thankful for those folks that you see on the screen here. As you can see, they have a wide array of expertise in different fields. We decided to have them on the design team for that expertise. We have everyone from directors of career development, director of leadership and service, a vice president for academic affairs, so that we can really take a holistic look at what the students need and want to get out of this academy. So for the program, the students will be engaging in what we are calling immersion visits, and the students will, I'm sure, talk about that when they talk about their experience in previous years. But immersion visits are a way for the students to really get out into the community and talk to the small businesses, the government organizations, all of the organizations that make the Capital Region community and the bigger community what it is. We'll also be focusing on personal mastery and looking at the identities of the students and what do you bring to the table as a student and as a team member within your group. And we will also be focusing on cultural intelligence, and we will be providing the students with an opportunity to meet with community organizations in a leadership panel, as well as having SUNY executive leadership panels that the students can meet different leaders within the field and ask them whatever sort of questions that they want to help answer that challenge question, and to be able to try to think about how we can create solutions to that challenge question. There will be a service component that we will be doing throughout the one of the evenings of the academy, and the career development component, which is something that we're excited about. This came from a student suggestion from last summer, who had suggested that we take a deeper look at creating programming for the students that revolves around career development, and what types of resources can they have to talk about their story and their personal and professional story, and be able to articulate that in a way that is attractive to hiring managers or whatever position that they are looking to get into. The program will also consist of final projects that the students will work on in order to solve that challenge question. They'll be working in teams. They will have a mentor to help them through the challenge question and help to guide them through the process. And they will also be having peer mentors as well. So they'll be doing some peer review, some peer mentorship, which we do find to be the most helpful with something like this. We'll be giving them a pre and post evaluation to take a look at if there is any shift in learning, what they really took, what they really got away, from the program. So we'll also be sending out a program evaluation in addition to that, so that we're always taking a temperature check of what the students are learning and how satisfied they are with their experience in the academy. And finally, they'll be building a network. Last summer's cohort, I'm sure that some of the students can tell you on the panel, were very active on social media, in particular LinkedIn. And so many of those conversations and connections have still remained and have strengthened through social media. So we plan to keep that as a component and to be able to build the strongest cohort that we can. And also, if you at any point have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll answer it as we go here. So throughout the academy, the design team came up with these essential learning outcomes, what we're hoping that the students will get out of this experience. And as you can see, we're looking to have the students connect across difference as they pursue the team-based solutions to complex social challenges related to the UN Sustainable Goals, and to have a better understanding of their own culture and their identities. And that's where the personal mastery piece comes in, as they relate to their peers and community and the world. To also expand their personal and professional network locally and globally through meeting with those organizations and the social media piece that I just talked about. And deepening their understanding of the Capital Region community, as well as identifying similarities and differences in their own local communities. We are having students from all across the system, and some communities will look very similar and some will have some differences, and we are excited to explore those. And finally, just learning to be able to flex skills of storytelling and being able to articulate their story to future hiring managers. So a few logistics about the Academy. It is going to be June 3rd through the 5th. Nice and warm, hopefully. It'll be at the University at Albany, which will be our host campus. They will also be providing housing there. And we are going to be at, like I said, for the immersion visits and also for various other parts of the Academy, we will be at the SUNY, the H. Carl McCall building, the SUNY building, that's our new name here, but the SUNY System Administration building, and other buildings that we as the design team think that the students would really get a lot out of visiting. We will also be doing immersion visits, like I said. Meals and transportation are provided throughout the program, and I can talk more about the cost of that in a bit, but just wanted to let you know that yes, meals and transportation are provided, but dinner is on their own, and that transportation to the Capital Region is not included. So that is something to note when looking at the costs of different things. We will be having optional evening activities for the students so that they can continue to build community and get to know each other, and as we know, will help to have them solve the challenge questions. So there will be a lot of options for the students to get to know one another. As far as eligibility of the students, it's open to any current SUNY student. So they must be enrolled either full-time or part-time in an accredited higher ed institution within SUNY, or they have graduated within 6 months of May 2020. So if you have a student in mind that will have graduated in May, but still could use this experience, they are absolutely eligible for this. They also have to submit a fully completed Student Leadership Academy application, and we can talk a little bit more about that later. Must be nominated by their campus and adhere to the campus's selection process. We know that as you all are thinking about being a campus liaison, you might have your own set of criteria or things that you're looking for, and we really want to leave that process up to you. Although we are creating a nomination form, there might be other things that you have in mind as far as a selection process. So we wanted to put that in there as well. And then applicants' participation is contingent upon campus approval and fiscal support. And we'll talk a little bit about the campus liaison role, but the the campus liaison, when folks agree to be a campus liaison, they agree to be able to review nominations and to be able to coordinate any sort of funding that the student or students may need for the academy. And without a campus liaison, the students are not eligible to continue on without that organizational support. Okay, no questions yet. Okay, all right. We'll keep going. So like I had just mentioned, there's a few things that we're looking to the campus liaisons to help us with, and that is to encourage and promote nominations of the students from your campus, to be someone that will help with marketing the experience to the students, and the students can self-nominate. And that's, I think, something that's important. They can both self-nominate or have a faculty or staff member nominate them. So to the other part of this, like I had mentioned, the campus liaison would review the nominations for their student population. If you do have 5, 10 students who submit nominations, that campus liaison would look at all of those nominations to choose who they would put forward to the academy. And if you are interested in becoming a liaison, you would fill out a sign-up form on our student leadership page. Okay, so the participation cost. So it's $800 per student, and this includes registration, so entry fees for the 3-day academy. This includes food, so breakfast and lunch for the 3 days of programming. And like I had mentioned, students are responsible for dinner on their own. It includes transportation, unlimited transportation throughout the 3-day academy. And but it will not cover the transportation to and from Albany. And then it also, that 800 total includes housing, and students will stay at UAlbany's Empire Commons apartments, and those accommodations include linens. So we are requesting that all students in the academy are staying in the housing on campus. And we do this because it's part of the experience, right? To be able to talk with their peers and be able to stay with them within that learning community throughout the 3 days of the academy is very important to us, and important to the learning outcomes that we have set forth for the students in the academy. Some important dates and information that you all should know is that the nomination period will open March 9th, which is this coming Monday. So mark your calendars if you have anyone in mind that you would like to nominate for the academy. We are currently doing the information session, yay. And then nominations close a month from March 9th. So they close on April 9th, 2020. And then the selection committee, AKA the campus liaisons, will review the nominations between April 13th through the 24th and make their selections at that point. And then we'll be sending acceptance letters to the accepted students on April 27th. And for the students who are going to be staying with, or that are going to be in the academy and have any sort of housing assignment needs, those will be due May 15th. And then it's going to be the academy. So just a few things, just a few important dates for your calendar. And if any, does anyone have any questions before we get into the good stuff, the students? Okay, so there was a question, is there a nomination form we should refer to? Yes, so we are going to, on March 9th, have the link to the nomination form on our student leadership page. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for that question. Okay, so I think we can go to the students here, and oh, we have some students here. Okay. Hi, Nate. How are you?
Wow.
Of course. Yes. It's very nice to see you. So we were just going to ask you all as students and past participants what are some takeaways from your participation in the previous SUNY SAIL student leadership program that you have attended. So I don't know if, let's start with you all, if you don't mind.
Sure. You want to talk about your takeaways?
Yeah, sure. So of course, the Institute really prides on the leadership aspect, but my favorite part, I think, was learning about how to think as an individual in an unbiased setting. Being with people that I've never met before from like all over the New York and SUNY campuses. It was a good introduction to me learning how to work with different types of people. If I recall correctly, the first 1 or 2 days, we did a lot of work on just trying to understand that we might not know everything as a person, and that we can learn things from all these other people that we are meeting. And we can use that to help this greater goal in this grand challenge. And I think that's my favorite part of my experience from last summer when I did the SUNY SAIL Leadership Academy in New York City in June.
Great, thank you. And for everyone, I don't think they caught your name, so if you could just say your name and what your major is.
Oh yeah, sure. My name is Nathaniel Q. I'm a senior right now at SUNY Albany. I'm a digital forensics major. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much. And Courtney, have you joined us? Okay, I think I guess maybe we'll turn it over to Maya here.
Something that I remember pretty strongly was that I learned from the academy was just the power of self-reflection and taking that time to be introspective and learn about yourself, how you contribute to your community and your society, and ways that you can do that better, ways that you can be a stronger leader, not only for yourself and to show the universe all that you have to offer, but to be able to lead from behind and bring others with you in that success. That was something that the academy taught us a lot about, was how to do better for ourselves so we can do better on behalf of others.
Great. And are there any students on the call that we have missed? I want to make sure that.
So Cheryl's also a graduate student who did participate,
Oh,
but
great.
also
Yeah.
helped coordinate. So
Yeah, one of my biggest takeaways from the program is that you don't realize how much of an impact you can make where you live, or around, you know, the local area that our universities cover. But being able to speak to local agencies, nonprofit coordinators, government officials, leaders in their own companies, that really makes the experience something that's tangible and something that goes beyond what you can learn about leadership or yourself in a classroom. It's really unique to this type of program.
Great, thank you.
do you want to jump in?
And oh, did you have something to add?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, going off what Cheryl said, also one of the big parts is the immersion visits. Like she said, you get really involved in the community. And I happen to live in New York City, so I knew a little bit about the community. But by going to these companies and really talking to like some of their really high up established people, you learn a lot about the nuances that you might have not known before. and also just the different ideas and perspectives of the diverse group of people you're working with. You learn a lot through them as well.
Great. Thank you. And I did see that Christian, you joined us. Hello, Christian.
Hi, what's up? Hey,
Thanks for being here.
yeah.
So we just, I'm sure you've been on the info session, but we are talking about some takeaways from your participation in the experience last summer. And if you could introduce yourself, your name, your campus, your major, that would be great.
So I am a student at Binghamton University. I'm a senior. I will be getting my computer engineering degree this May, and I'm in the fast track MBA program. So I am going to be completing my MBA at the end of next year in finance and MIS. What I loved from the program was that I am a very shy kid, and especially being an engineering background, we're not used to doing a lot of public speaking or talking to others. So it definitely helped me see things from another perspective, seeing other people speak about how, like, I remember in the program, there were even like jazz majors and English majors, and seeing how they think versus like computer engineering and like very analytical, very logical. So it was a very nice experience. And another thing was the networking. I still have friends from the program, not only at other schools, but even my university, and that I would walk by them every day and I never knew them. And after that program, it was like, oh, like, hey, like, what's up? And I remember I'm still in contact actually with James Serra, who was a speaker for Microsoft, and he kind of became a mentor to me. We still meet occasionally, and I mean, hopefully possible jobs or internships, but definitely the program, it helped a lot. And yeah, that's really.
Thank you. That's fantastic. And is there anyone else that we are missing? No. Okay. All right. So I guess, like Christian had mentioned, if the students or you are more introverted or are a little bit more shy to get into something like this, what advice would you give to incoming students who are interested and who are but are kind of hesitant to do this?
The first piece of advice that I would give to any incoming student and that faculty can relay to students is to just keep an open mind. This is something that, it's sort of a big melting pot of students from all over the system who come from different backgrounds of all kinds. And so I think sometimes it gets a little bit challenging for students to break out of the comfort zones of whether it be the cohort of students that they travel with from their home campus, or perhaps they know somebody who's going. My second piece of advice would be to step outside of your comfort zone, and that is a big risk, but big risks yield big rewards. So I think it's important that students are open and willing to try something new.
Thank you. And Christian, is there anything that you would like to add to that? Any sort of pieces of advice for potential students and the folks here on the phone are faculty and staff who are looking to learn more? So if there's any advice you would have for them.
Regarding students like who are hesitant right now?
Yeah, yep.
I guess, I mean, I was hesitant, to believe it or not. And I guess that's kind of part of the program. It kind of pushes you outside of your comfort zone, and it puts you in a situation where nothing's really on the line, but it helps you become a better leader and just, I don't know, someone yeah, I guess that's really all I can say to that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And for the folks over at UAlbany, what are some pieces of advice you would have?
Some advice.
My name's thinking, I would add, go with an open mind, because you are exploring, and we are, like Christian said, putting you outside of your comfort zone, but you're exploring your own personal boundaries as well as really exploring the community in which you're doing the immersion visits and you're experiencing. And you'll start to see a whole lot of connections not just with the participants, but with your own meaning in life and your own purpose of how you fit in. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Wow, that was pretty good. Yeah, I guess just going off that, like, yeah, really trying to like come in with like no biases, really trying to use all your senses, your listening skills really come big. A lot of people, I think, at first thought that like, oh, leadership is talking, but oftentimes leadership is listening to everyone. And I feel like using all your senses, even smell, taste, everything, you could learn something new in every interaction. And I think that was like something I thought about throughout the whole time.
And the team experience. You're put into teams, and it's not necessarily teams that you've identified with. And so I think it's teaching you how to work more effectively with the strengths that you bring towards the team, but how to complement the styles of all the different members that you have on your team. And it comes with stresses, but that's also the growing pains of the experience.
Wonderful. And
Marissa, do you mind if I add a little something?
Sure.
Carolyn. Oh, and I just realized I didn't have my video on, so sorry about that. But I would just add that for this year's program, the design team thought it was very important for the students to be able to leave this experience, being able to communicate what experience they gained and the information they know about themselves, so that they can communicate that in a way and tell a story that's powerful, that really summarizes who they are, what leadership skills they have, and understand their own strengths and what they bring to a team or an organization. So that's really something that the design team felt was important to add to the program this year and part of the experience. So I'm really looking forward to that and hearing how different journeys the students have, because they're each going to be unique, even though they're going through the same 3 days. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
And just something else that Christian had reminded me of when he spoke was that it's really important that students are held accountable for showing up to this experience and really putting their best foot forward and making the most of it, because it's going to be an exciting and jam-packed 3 days. And as Martha mentioned, while that does come with its stresses, this is not meant to be a stressful experience. There's really little at stake or at risk here. There's no pass-fail, there's no grade. This is something that students can come to completely being who they are, and just learning how to express that confidently and how to meet new people and just really enjoy themselves. And so I think that's another important thing to communicate to students, is that this is not something that's stressful. This is something that you can use to build your resume and boost your career skills and your networking skills, and not to stress about it or feel worried.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that for the students' final projects, as they create solutions to the challenge question, there will be a panel that will be looking at the projects and giving constructive feedback. Like Maya said, it's shouldn't be this super stressful thing, but something where the students can learn from and really take the advice of leaders and experts within organizations and businesses to really perfect their solution to the challenge question. Okay, does anyone have anything else they want to add from a student perspective?
I think we said it all at our end.
Okay, all right. So at this point, I would like to open it up to the faculty and staff on the call. If you have any sort of unanswered questions lingering in your mind, if there's just another question that you might have for the students that you would like to have answered, we'll give you some time right now to be able to ask those questions. It's a quiet group. That means we did a great job answering all of their questions, everyone. All right. Well, I think that concludes our information session. And like I said, if you are interested in in being a campus liaison, please visit our student leadership page and fill out the sign up form. As you can see here, I put my contact information. We also have our general mailbox, leadership@suny.edu. But if it is something regarding this academy, feel free to please reach out directly to me at marissa.mccasty@suny.edu. And I just want to check one more time.
Yeah, in the chat, there was a question, Marissa. So someone's asking about the schedule, and I let them know that it's draft still, so it's not final, but we could share it with them if they're looking for it.
Sure, yes, we can. And then, oh, yes, we will be sharing slides. Thank you, Tara. We will be sharing the slides, and this will be recorded as well. This is recorded. So we will put it onto our student leadership page so that you can share it out with your colleagues and any other folks that might be interested that weren't able to make the info session today. And one more question we have from Stephen. Hello, Stephen. Stephen asked, how do liaisons see the nominations that are submitted through your nomination form? Will that be sent out? Great question. Yes, you will be able to see the liaisons will be added to our system. And so those folks will be able to see just their campus and those nominations for that campus. And once we will be reaching out to the liaisons that said they are interested in doing that, we will reach out with all of that information. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much, and enjoy your day. I want to say thank you to the student panelists, to Martha, who has been instrumental throughout this process as a design team member and just an overall team player. So thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.